Welcome to Chapter 5, Journalistic Getting Ready. So this is the groom getting ready, the groom's shower and shave, this is the groomsman prepping, getting dressed, all that kind of stuff that we would typically run into through groom's prep. Keep one thing in mind, and that was a very high note that I hit on the keep. Like, keep. But anyway, not all grooms are gonna want the shower and shaving type shots, especially if your second shooter's a girl. They might not want the girl in the bathroom during the showering portion. That'd be weird. But either way, I want you guys to tailor fit this entire thing to your clients. So obviously this once again goes back to that planning and communication segment. When we do the talk through with the groom, we're gonna ask them, say, hey, we love doing all these different kind of shots. We're gonna have Alec with you guys and the boys. You know, we even love doing like these kind of cool artistic shower shots, getting you guys prepping, do all those kind of things. And they'll let you know, hey, you know, I don't really want the shower stuff or the shaving stuff. I don't think I really want that stuff. Or I don't even want any of prep. I just want the boys hanging out at the bar. That's totally fine too. We are customizing this entire course so that whatever you're shooting, this will apply. So if you're going straight to the bar, skip to the next part. We're basically gonna do the portraits and the groomsmen stuff. So it's in here. But the point is we wanna prepare you for any situation, and we're gonna do that by jumping to the next video. So let's go on. Okay, so a cool shot, if you have time in groom prep, is to set up a flash inside of the shower. We could do this with a GorillaPod. The only problem is in this setup, there was literally no way to wrap this around anything. The shower head is very kind of specific to this hotel. So instead, gaff taped it up.
It's me! Gaff tape! It's good for everything. Put some in your case. Back to the video.
So what we have is we've placed the towel in a way where, you know, when the groom is showering, like oftentimes there's a curtain, there's something to kind of conceal. And so you just need a little peek of him and his face getting ready. Obviously we don't want to do like a nude shot. So we want to do it kind of implied where either the shower curtain itself is concealing him or you have a towel concealing him and so forth. And obviously you're going to make sure that the groom is wanting to do this kind of a shot. This is a little bit more of the, I don't know if I'd say risque, but it's one of those shots that a groom would have to want for us to photograph it, but it's still a cool shot to have. And it's going to be very cool when you see the final look to the image. So what I've done is I placed the flash up there, and on the camera itself, I'm balancing this scene so that basically we have a very kind of dark and moody look. So it's right around, let me see where we're at. I turned off the wrong thing. It's right around 1/200 of a second, f1.4, maybe we might go up to f2, and then maybe up to 200 ISO. But we're leaving everything in the ambient light fairly dark so that this flash makes him pop. We also gelled the flash with a CTO. So that way that color temperature orange gel, which you guys learned from lighting 101 and 201, is gonna change the balance of light so we get a nice look to the scene. So Heath, go ahead, turn on the shower, and it might be cold, buddy, so. All right. I'm gonna take a quick test shot. Okay, this is dumb. Gaff tape, ow, that freaking hurt. Gaff tape is awesome, keeps them in your bag, it's cheap, it's fantastic for many uses. But in cases like this, when the GorillaPod has nothing to attach to, like if we have a pole or something that we can attach this to, great, that's totally fine. But in a case like this, we have found a more elegant solution, and our friends at Tether Tools actually designed this guy. This is the SLX. And it's a little bracket and holder where you can put your flash just basically sitting right on this, and then you attach that little bungee cord to it, and it holds it securely. And all you do is you take off this little adhesive thing on the back and you attach it to whatever smooth surface you want. And then you simply buy new packs of the adhesive tape and you are good to go. So you can buy new packs. I think it's like they come in like packs of 10 or 20 or whatever, but it's a fantastic mounting solution in places where a GorillaPod just can't go, and when you don't want to use such an elegant solution as gaff tape, which is not very elegant. Let's move on. Okay. Is that water pretty hot, dude?
Yeah, that's good.
Can you cool it down a little bit?
Yeah.
There you go. And lean forward a little bit into the light more. There you go, right there. Perfect. So all I need is 1 or 2 good shots from there, and then we're good. We're gonna let him do his thing. And if you want, if you're worried about the flash, you can pull it down at that point. But you can check this out. And what we see is just him lit up in the frame. We have this nice open frame showing part of the room. Very dramatic, very cool looking. And it doesn't show any, obviously no nudity involved in this kind of a shot. Okay, now once we stepped in, we can get some cool shots. And I thought it might be cool to have a little bit of that glow from the outside. But if you don't want that, just have the groom keep it a little bit cooler for just a little bit. Take a couple quick shots, get your images, and then go ahead and grab the flash and then let him do his thing. And once he's out, we're gonna go ahead and do some prep kind of shaving shots with similar techniques to kind of separate him from the environment. So we're done with this, let's keep moving. Okay, so now Heath is gonna shave, and what we're gonna do basically is we have this really cool sliding door. I know not all hotels have stuff like this, but we're gonna shoot and we're gonna open this a little bit so we can kind of get that similar voyeuristic shot that we did in the shower. But we're gonna do a couple shots just regular with the natural light in this scene. And then we're gonna put a flash right here so we can kind of bounce light in. Now, once again, normally what we would do is we use that GorillaPod. Do you have the GorillaPod? Why don't you give me the flash stand first, Mike? And let me show that. So since we have this opening right here, we're gonna place a flash just right here at this edge. Again, it has that tungsten gel on it. It's gonna fire in right here. And I probably will have you gridded as well, Mike, just so it doesn't spill all over the place. We're gonna raise it up to about 6.5 feet, and then aim it kind of down a little bit towards his face. Now, normally what we do is use, again, the GorillaPod, just place it inside somewhere with one of these guys. I have this guy on here because I forgot my little adapter for it. But that's, again, how to light in a more tight situation. We're gonna shoot this shot, we're gonna work into the back and do some other shots. I'm gonna talk through it as we go. So let's go ahead and place, actually, Heath, you're good to get started. And just shave like you normally would, man. So kind of ignore that we're here. Which I know is weird. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm balancing the scene for that tungsten light, which our daylight that's bouncing in is turning this really cool blue. So what we're gonna do is also, Mike, can you move that chair out of the frame so I don't have that caught in the reflection? We'll see if I might actually like it because it adds a little bit of shape to it, but we'll see.
Is it right here?
Yeah, right there's great. You can place it back in actually at the table where it was. That's really cool. We have this nice natural reflection coming off of this too, so I'm going to use that by just kind of positioning. We get this great double reflection off that. Heath, lean back a little bit while you're doing that. There you go. We're keeping the shutters fairly high, 1/200 of a second, f2 and ISO 400 because I don't want any motion blur in these kind of shots. So I'm just going to get kind of close. As he's brushing that on, I'm going to go ahead and look at my highlight alert as well, make sure we're not blowing out anything in the scene. I'm going to make a little adjustment just so you can check. My white balance is right at 3600 right now. For a couple shots, I had a little bit of the water bottles in the background. Oh, I got it out. Okay, good. So I'm just adjusting so I don't see any of the kind of commercial pieces. Now we're going to go ahead and bring this up. I'm going to angle the head down a little bit. It's got the gel on it, and we have it gridded. Do we have it gridded?
Right here.
You throw that on there. We're using, again, the mag mods. I'm going to turn on this top side unit. Let's go around to the other side. All right, Heath, go ahead and lean in and go ahead and start shaving again. We're just shooting so we get this nice reflection off the mirror so we can see his face. We can get this beautiful reflection. We can see his back and we can see the room itself. So we're at 24 millimeters. So that way we got the room itself. I'm at 132nd flash power. I'm gonna dial this down a little bit to 1/64. There we go. Just a perfect kind of kiss of light. Guys tend to make a lot of faces when they shave, and so it's important to kind of look for the right shots because there's going to be a lot of the stretching of the lips and stuff so you can get, you know, around those corners and things. So just watch for that. We don't necessarily want a shot of the groom shaving and going with the lips. It's not gonna be one of those things that you wanna save. So wait till he has like kind of a regular expression. Maybe he's looking down, maybe he's doing something. And if it doesn't happen, you can direct him to do it. But ideally, I just wanna set up a light and let him kind of do his thing. So we're not kind of being too invasive. But these look fantastic. Just bring the face down right there. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Great. Okay, we're pretty much done. If we want to get a few shots here and there as he's doing his hair or whatever, we can. But those are the main shots I need. I got angles of him getting ready. It looks fantastic. We got some dramatic stuff. We got some wide shots that kind of establish and some closer shots that show in the action. That's all we need. And now we can shoot as we would like. So, time for Heath to get dressed. I know, ladies, I'm sorry. I'm sure the girl is like, no, don't photograph groom prep in his boxers. Not gonna happen. He has to become a groom. Okay, so we have all this stuff laid out, and basically what I'm gonna say, and what we're gonna do basically is, we have our light coming in from this side. We're gonna close off the curtain just a little bit to kind of control where we want the light to spill. So I want the light to spill kind of in the background. Remember when we talked earlier, when we talked about Sunseeker, we said a little bit later in the morning, this light's gonna be more directional. It's gonna go towards this side. We knew that. So now at this time of day, we can see that it's actually happening, and this becomes a perfect place to actually shoot. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and leave this curtain kind of on the more open side, and I'm noticing certain things which we're gonna correct. So one of the things that I'm seeing is a giant reflection over on this side of the wall. I don't know if you guys can all see this, but there is this hard reflection. Now, if I were to shoot, Heath, if you were to stand right here for a sec and face the window, there you go. If that spot is visible in the background, then it's gonna show up as a giant reflection on the wall. It's very apparent, very obnoxious. So we wanna remove it. So what we're gonna do is, what's causing that, it's easy to tell, it's that little thing right there, but if you have any question of what's causing it, just run your hand in front of it and see where the shadow's coming from. So Mike, let's remove this tray right here. Quick note, I do a lot of rearranging when it comes to hotel rooms, but I do 3 things. Number 1, I ask the bride or groom and make sure that, hey, is it okay if I move a few things around? Number 2, ask them if they're staying there that night. Okay, are you guys staying here tonight in this room as your, honeymoon suite? If so, number 3 is I make sure that I reset everything. Now, if they're not staying there that night, generally room service doesn't really have a problem of putting back things in their room because they figure the bride and groom moved it. But if we are in, say, a lobby area or another area of the hotel, a public area, moving furniture around, you can be sure that we're gonna put it back exactly where it came from when we're done. That's just kind of good etiquette. So, let's move on. This looks great now. So Heath, I'm gonna have you just kind of ignore us, and for the most part, our light is coming from this side, so as you're getting dressed, you can sit on the bed, you can do whatever you want, but just kind of face towards that side. Okay. I'm gonna tweak my white balance right now. I'm gonna go back to, let's go up to 6,000 Kelvin. Bring my exposure up to 1/200 of a second, and I'm noticing a lot of green, and then we're gonna go ahead and make an adjustment for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my white balance menu. Okay. I'm going to change the white balance shift to be a little more magenta. Ladies, I have had Heath now showering, shaving, all with his shirt off, just standing there with his shirt off, probably a good 30 minutes or so now in this tutorial, if not more. You can thank me later. If we keep Heath a little bit directional to the light so he's not quite facing it completely, then we get good shadow and it kind of reveals figure. What I'm noticing is the room looks a little bit plain without that lamp. Yeah, it breaks up the pattern on the wall. It breaks up that consistency on the wall a little bit. Watch out behind you. There you go. Let's put it right here in the corner and just take it out of the direct light so we don't get those shadows. And Heath, face the wall while you're kind of buttoning up the cuffs and everything.
You want it on or off?
Or, sorry, face the window. Let's turn it on. So it has a little bit of a glow to it. Yeah, it looks nice. So I'm getting a little bit of a tight shot so we kind of show the detail. Again, working in and out so we can tell this entire story. So I'm gonna go work out a little bit more. He stepped forward a little bit towards the window. There you go, right there. That's great. Yeah, you know what? Let's get your brother in to help out with the rest.
All right.
If we work in from the shadow side, we can get really good dramatic light on their expressions and face.
Feels no. How's it look? No, that's not recent.
Okay. So I'm just gonna have Will. You're just gonna help your brother as he's getting ready. Oh, those Jenny.
Yeah.
Are there tuxedo buttons?
Yeah, that's fair. Remember prom?
Huh?
Remember prom? This is the thing I was like,
That's good love.
Dude, you guys should totally play a prank on your dad. Does he know that you're doing this shoot?
He does not.
no. I texted Becca though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said he's getting married.
That would be so funny. Hey, Dad.
Wait, what?
What's that?
One fantastic thing is when they're laughing and having a good time is getting in a little bit tighter if it's not too obnoxious. The reason why is because shooting tight with a wider lens will make it feel like you're in the action.
A little suck in down here. Josh would be very pleased with the sock.
He'd be very happy.
Yeah, dude, just start posting stuff to Instagram because you remember from the last shoot, you already got like the shots of like Raisha and everything.
Yeah. Moving quick.
So from this shadow angle, there is fantastic Rembrandt lighting on their faces. So you can see those highlights, the edge lighting. Look at that nice light coming in right in on Will's face.
Yeah, he's have a little less again.
A little suck in. All right.
Who's older, guys?
I am.
You are? Okay. So it's not weird then.
I have to get dressed every single day.
Shut up. That's not true. You just wear all my clothes, so. Got that true.
I want y'all to notice that I'm interacting with them a little bit, talking about, hey, let's play a prank on the parents, kind of joking around. I'm talking to his older brother and saying, hey, who's older? Is this a normal thing to help him get ready? All that kind of stuff is designed to get genuine emotions and reactions out of them. I find that for a shoot like this, a stylized groom prep shoot where we're trying to teach and educate with models, I have to do a lot more of that interacting than I do on an actual wedding itself. On an actual wedding, it's really more of saying one or two things like, hey mom, do you have something that you'd like to say to your daughter or to your son? Or dad, do you have something you want to say to your daughter? She looks amazing. It's saying one thing and then letting things unfold. And generally when you're hanging out with the guys, I don't really have to do much of anything. At least the times that I've shot the guys, they hang out, they have a good time. It's kind of more putting them in position and then just saying to enjoy themselves and talk and have a good time with it. So just keep that in mind. If things are happening on their own naturally, your involvement should be more minimal and you should kind of take that fly on the wall approach. When things are not happening naturally, that's when you need to bring out that inner director and kind of just help them to move things along in a way that's not obtrusive or kind of stealing the show type thing. You want it to still be about them. It's their day after all. Let's go back to the video. So they're doing things, we're gonna work in tight and work back out. If you guys wanna be a little bit less intrusive, feel free to turn on silent shutter if you have it available on your camera. Most modern DSLRs are gonna have the silent shutter option. Now, how do you know when to turn it on? My general rule of thumb is when you're in a quiet scene, for example, if you're in preparation and there's no music and the loudest noise in that room is this, that gets really kind of obnoxious and very noticeable. Same thing when you're in a church during the ceremony. This is noticeable and obnoxious. But if you're outdoors during a ceremony and it's loud and they're talking, there's other noises, or if you're inside groom prep or bride prep and they have music and it's a party, that's something that I'm not really worried about. But when it's quiet, turn it on. And it's simple. All you do is you're gonna go press the AF drive button, and this is on a Canon camera. On other cameras, obviously, just consult your manual. But on a Canon camera, AF drive, and then you're gonna switch from that H, you're just gonna dial this little dial on the back to where it says S, and then if you go to S where it has the multiple icons, that's silent high-speed shutter. So then it goes from basically this So let's go back to the original. This to this. Much better. Let's go back to the video. I'm gonna move over to this side. And we've left these lights on in the room intentionally because it adds a little bit of color and warmth to the room. Without them on, it's gonna look very cold and cool and a little bit less interesting visually. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my prism. Just kind of fill in that ceiling again. Once again, putting them in both in the highlight. Can you guys stand back towards Will's side a little bit more, just so I get both of you guys? There you go, right there. And then do the jacket one more time. Perfect. So from this angle, we get a really cool shot with them in the highlight. We get the wall using negative space. These shots are so important when it comes to an album because it gives us the negative space to be able to work with in an album layout. Yeah, why don't we get you...
What am I wearing?
You can either save the shoes for last, or let's go shoes last. You can go all the jewelry pieces, accessories.
Watch first. You want to do this over here? Or do you want us to move back?
You're good right there.
You want to help me?
Gigantic hanging dong in the background is freaking weird looking.
What'd you do? Oh no. Hold on.
Guys, don't look at it like you're so curious.
How did it work? Is it on?
No?
No. Let's figure this guy out.
That's got a last guy. Is it too tight?
There. That's it. That's it. Boom.
Okay, Heath, face this way. There you go. And then, go ahead, guys.
Watch to get this up bad. What?
Take it back. That's not bad.
Look.
Looks good.
Same thing with the, so again, holding over this side because the left side of my frame is really white. So I'm kind of adding a little bit of interest into it by just adding on the prism. We're back in the room and the light has changed at this point of the day. So we need to set up a little bit, and what we're gonna do right now is we're just gonna set him up to read the card and the gift from the bride. So all we're gonna do once again is put him in the right place, set him up, and then just cue the action and shoot it as it's happening. I'm gonna do a couple different things right now. One, I'm gonna go back to silent shutter on my camera because I think it's a little bit on the distracting side. These are usually quiet moments. A lot of times the video team is gonna have him read out loud the card, and your loud shutter is gonna be caught in the audio. And so switch over to silent mode. It's gonna be a little bit less intrusive in this type of a moment. Now what we're gonna do is just kind of adjust the light. So all I'm gonna have you do, brother, is kind of sit in an angle where you're facing kind of this way. There you go. That's how I'm gonna have you basically read the card, so you have a nice amount of light coming in. And I'm just gonna adjust this. Actually, Mike, why don't you help me adjust this real quick? Just so we get a nice kind of amount of light on him. So open up a little bit. And close. Right there, perfect. And I actually have that window on the opposite side opened up as well, because you can see that on this side of him, we have that nice rim light. So we have that 2-light setup basically just from that natural window on the other side of this entire room. So if I actually go and close that, watch this, I'll close that and you can see that light disappear off the side of his face. So check this out. So I do that just to show you guys that. Can either of these cameras see me right now? I do that just to show you all that a light that far away is still having an impact on our shot, and if we set up for it, we can utilize it. So now we're just going to give him the gift, and what I'm going to do real quick is, brother, let me just take a quick photograph of this, kind of right there. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just raise the, actually let me get a shot of the gift as well. In this box. There we go. Solid. Okay, I'm going to adjust my ISO and everything so we're all good to go. I'm going to drop down to 5500 Kelvin. That looks fantastic. Let's take a look at our information. We're good. Okay, I'm going to speed up to 1/160th of a second. I'm going to go at 1600 ISO, just so we have a little bit of a brighter shot, and we also have a little bit of a quicker shutter, so we have a nice, sharp image. All right, dude, go ahead and just open the gift, and you can read the card.
What should I do first, the gift or the card?
Let's do the gift.
All right. I wonder what it is.
Oh, sorry, let's do the card.
Okay.
Isn't that how it usually works? You open the card? Okay, so I'm going to flip around to this side as he's reading. Generally, we're not going to be talking in this kind of a scene, but I want to explain what I'm doing to you guys. Okay, these are the types of things that I do want to shoot up close, and I want to get shots of the text. Why? Because, well, if they ever happen to lose that card, then he still has the memory. Okay, we do have a lot of background stuff on this side, so I'm going to shoot towards this direction. Brother, you can be done anytime you're done.
All right. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Oh, Maria.
People at Hallmark really outdid themselves with that one. What?
Get on them acting chops, baby.
Oh yeah. I haven't been waiting this all day. I had no idea this was it. Don't know how this works. You want me to put it on?
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it on. Let's see.
Bring the head up a little bit while you're doing that, just so it's not, there you go, too craned over. In journalistic moments like the one you see here, we might set up the action, but it still isn't happening the way that works for you and for your camera angles. For example, here, as he's putting on the watch, as he's opening the gift, sometimes he's craning his neck so far that it looks like his neck is broken, and there's really no way for us to get a good angle on that. In those types of moments, it's okay to give, at least based on me and my style, it's okay to give them a little bit of guidance without being invasive, basically. And the way you want to do that is just say simple things like, just lift the head up a little bit and keep doing what you're doing. You know, ignore me, forget I'm here. And I understand that in telling him to forget you're here, that's difficult to do because you're telling him that. But these little bits of guidance will allow them to kind of readjust and continue without you stepping in and like saying, no, that's not working or anything like that, and interrupting the moment, basically. So let's jump back into the video now.
Definitely put it on upside down.
Want to fix it? Yeah, go ahead and fix it. There we go. So simple as that. Put them into the right light, cue the action, and just let it happen naturally. Shoot the angles so we get the details on the card, we get the details of the watch, we kind of get the close-up of him opening, we get all the different shots in that sequence to tell the full story, and we're good to go. I did all this on a 50mm lens, just moving around and shooting at 1/160th of a second, 1.4 and ISO 1600, and we dialed in our Kelvin. What did we dial it into? It was set to 5500 Kelvin with a little bit of white balance shift to compensate for the green windows. That's it for this video. Let's go on to the next one. What we've done now is we're gonna kind of simulate a journalistic groomsman prep. So the groomsmen are all prepping together. We had these guys kind of get into different states of undress, and we're gonna work around the room photographing as we would, kind of just in the moment without being obtrusive, just letting them do the thing. They're having a good time, listening to music, chatting, all that kind of stuff. We're just gonna document along the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and start wide, try and capture some shots of this entire scene, and then work in and get different pieces of the story as we go. The guys are gonna just do their thing and get ready. You guys, as if you're a regular groomsman, talking, having a good time, joking around, do your thing, and let's go.
YouTube.
One thing that we often overlook when we're shooting is to move around. So I wanted to pause for one moment and just say, as you see me shooting, you're gonna notice how I move from one angle to the next, finding different angles, finding different objects to shoot through, finding different compositions, and it'll also reveal kind of different things that are going on in the room. So make sure that you don't just kind of get stuck doing the same old photographer routine of standing in one spot and just shooting, because all your shots are gonna look very similar, if not the same. So, case in point, move around. But in the scene.
You want to help a little faster?
My favorite angles are the angles where we're shooting into the shadows.
Neil, what you
gonna do now?
Neil, help him out with his cufflinks.
Yeah. We already got that one.
All right.
Alright. You don't have to do anymore.
Something like that.
My fake wedding, I can take everything. And there's a will.
Stop. Stop.
Like,
Stop.
right? Am I right? Go with it.
Bad. 2 for 2?
Should you help a brother out?
Don't.
Brother?
Don't.
Hey, you really willed that collar down. Oh, that's so good. That's yeah.
Sit on it.
You like taking a picture of them?
Hold on. I've got something to say. Let's be serious for just a second. You notice me walking around a lot. Hopefully that's made known to you by now. You see all the different angles that I'm getting. If you are shooting something like groom prep or bride prep solo, then it's your job to make sure that you're constantly moving around. Now, even when you have an assistant, I want to make sure you're moving around too. But when you have an assistant, this little bit of advice is for that person. So if you have an assistant or a second shooter with you that is shooting at the same time, I always want that person to be aware of where the lead shooter is shooting from. And these secondary side angles and shoot throughs and all those kind of things, those are the angles that the second shooter should be grabbing. Those side angles and candids. Now, those are not moments where basically everybody is posed and looking in a certain direction, because then it's going to look like it was just an off-camera photo of everybody posing for someone else's camera. These are off-camera angles during a preparation type moment, during a journalistic type moment, basically. And they're gonna look fantastic. It's gonna look like the stuff that you see here. So these are the shots that you want your second shooter to be aware of, and then as you move around, your assistant or second shooter is gonna move in conjunction with you. And we're gonna get to that later on as we talk about the ceremony and all those kind of things too in a later course. But that's the basic thought, is that whatever angle you're getting, your assistant or second shooter is getting a complementary angle to you, adding to the delivery that you are creating. Let's keep moving.
Wow. Thanks.
You see this like poop face that I'm making right there? Don't act like y'all don't have a poop face when you're shooting behind your camera. I've tried so hard to get rid of that, and it still looks that way. Damn it, let's keep going.
Nasty Neil.
Oh, nasty Neil.
There we go. Got this. Look at
All right, guys. Oh, yeah.
not bad.
Sweet.
Not bad.
Gentlemen, lean into the camera, lean into the mirror and kind of each of you guys fix up something. What's unfolding in front of me right now is something that's gonna look amazing. So, at these kind of moments, this is where I don't mind saying, hey, Neil, I can't quite see you, brother. Step up just a little bit into the mirror and we get that perfect lineup as they're doing their thing. It's just a tiny bit of direction in a moment that's otherwise unadulterated. That is the correct use of the word, although I know it sounds a bit weird. Let's get back to the video.
A little more. JP, a little bit back. Right there.
That right there. That's what I'm talking about. How you like me now? Okay, so now we have the groomsmen gifts. So this is the gift setup that the groom is giving to the groomsmen. We have, well, we won't spoil the surprise, the fake surprise. We can't spoil the fakes. We need genuine reactions, guys.
All right.
All right. So what we're done, or what we're done here, is we're gonna put them in the scene, and I'm again gonna use my windows just to kind of control this strip box of light coming through. We're also gonna use a pretty shallow depth of field because I want the background to blur out. I don't want to shoot that way because it's an absolute mess on that side of the room, and so we're choosing this area because it's just clutter-free. I'm gonna set him up again. I'm gonna let the groom kind of give out the gifts, talk to his groomsmen, explain why he's giving him this gift, and just let things naturally happen once I get everything dialed in. So let's go ahead and just kind of adjust our curtains. We'll just probably pull it back to about here. Let's close off this guy a little bit. So gentlemen, I want you guys to be kind of, I don't want anybody to cast shadows on each other, you know what I mean? So just stand a little bit forward. There you go, right there. Perfect, perfect. And then Neil, why don't you put your back against this guy? And then you guys can, JP, put your shoulder over Neil's. There you go. And you can lean back against that, kind of like you're holding that guy up. There you go. And what is this panel? This thing turn on? Oh, look at that. All right, don't need that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dial in settings real quick. So we are at 1/200 of a second, f1.4, ISO 1600. I have Mike holding this guy so we can keep the dong out of the way. Don't like the dong in our photos, guys. Let's be honest, who does?
And for you, just open them. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Just reminded me of all you guys so much. And yeah, I did it. I hope you like it.
Is it full?
Huh?
Did you fill it up?
Yes.
That's nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you know, well. It's the least I could do, right?
Yeah, it is the least you could do. It's very nice.
Yeah, I know. You're welcome.
What do you say, boys?
Thanks.
It's pretty awesome, even though I don't drink.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for my gift.
You're welcome. Pay for this wedding.
That did.
I introduced you to
Oh, Maria.
Maria, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna introduce you to Maria later.
Oh, okay.
I remember
This is
her.
very nice.
Oh, I already
It'd be
closed
better
They were full?
if it was
Wait,
grape.
wait, wait.
Maybe best brother in the world.
Uh,
Something like that. Something along those lines.
nah. I just figured plain would be.
You literally just bought down the street.
Yeah, you
last
live.
second.
Yeah, no, we saw these down at the gift shop.
There's a nice
We saw these
right?
downstairs.
Says that's the last
Yeah.
right on it,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Made of, anyway. Stainless steel, okay.
Yeah?
This right here, this is you, the lead shooter, moving around the scene if you're shooting the scene solo, or This is the second shooter image that we are looking for. This is the exact shot that we want. The side angle that shows a candid moment, fantastic. They're smiling, great expressions. That's a winner. That's what we're looking for our second shooters, assistants, or anybody else that's shooting in addition to the lead.
I like that.
Perfect, guys.